CSI Celebrity Style Inspiration.
Hi CSIers! Welcome to another episode of CSI Express Celebrity Style Inspiration. I'm Iza Iglesias, and today we have the privilege of welcoming the very woman who made our country proud by competing and winning third runner-up at the prestigious Miss International 2023 pageant held in Japan. Please join me in welcoming Miss Nicole Borromeo.
CSI Celebrity Style Inspiration.
Once again, welcome Nicole here at the Manila Times office. So thank you for being here with us today. So congratulations on your incredible achievement as the third runner-up in the Miss International 2023 pageant. So how's the feeling of, bringing the Philippine flag in the international stage?
Oh, thank you so much for that. It's really great to be back. Getting to wear the Philippines across my chest is, God, it was an honor.
Right.
It hits so different hearing your province versus the entire country on an international stage. I remember when I'd be in Japan and people would ask like, "Oh, Miss Philippines, come here, Miss Philippines, Miss Philippines." And I'd look back like, that's me that they're calling.
Right.
They're calling me. And I'm not just standing there on my own. I'm standing there with the entire country behind me. So that felt like such a proud achievement. Like I've made it.
Right. So tell us what's the experience like
Yeah.
competing with other
Other
gorgeous
countries, I
international
know.
contestants. Right.
Yeah, it's really how you look at it, if I'm honest, because when you're there, it's easy to, you could think negatively about yourself if you wanted to, because you could be, oh, they're so pretty, what about me? But that's exactly how I looked at it, like the opposite. I saw how beautiful they were, and to think if I get to be in a room with these beautiful women, it must mean that I'm beautiful too, and I have something to offer to the table. It's so great because each representative has an incredible backstory. And we've got a batch of doctors, of lawyers. We even had an astronaut. I was telling Sir Leroy earlier. It's amazing the people you get to meet. And it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to have that.
Yeah.
We don't know when we're going to see each other again. So to be brought together by this culturally immersive pageant, it's truly an honor.
So with that, who do you think are your closest
Closest?
contestants?
Oh, I could give you a list.
Yeah.
What was wonderful about the pageant was, at least in the first few days, or it was the days before the coronation night, everything was really fun. We were taken to so many places. We even got to take a plane to Kaga City. We were brought all around. We were divided. Some went to, I think, Niigata City, Fukushima, and all the girls were so kind. Thank God, right? Because we tend to hear some rumors about like how pageants can be a little feisty, but that was not my case. Thank God. And my closest was Miss Nepal. Her name's Prasidi Shah. She was my roommate.
Wow.
My God. The moment I met her, because I arrived earlier on the first day, and I was just waiting. I was like, oh, I wonder what she's going to be like. I hope that she's
So
nice.
you know who you will be
Roommates with? I found out the day that I arrived. Yeah.
Okay.
So I looked at the list of names and I was like, okay, Nepal. Okay, I've never met her before, but let's see. And the moment she arrived, like she just had this aura about her. She was so friendly. She was even sharing to me how her mom competed in the Philippines during her time as Miss Nepal also.
Wow.
So for her, she's got this big admiration
What
towards
competition was it?
the Philippines.
Do you remember?
I don't want to get my I don't want to get my facts all wrong. I just know that she was a Miss Nepal. I'm not too sure if it was for Miss World or Miss Universe, but she was a representative, and it's great to see that her daughter followed in her footsteps, and I got to meet her. Another favorite, oh God, there's so many lists. Miss Lithuania, Estonia, Portugal.
So it wasn't really like a competition. It's just a friendly competition.
Well, that was the beautiful thing. Like these girls knew that they wanted to win, right?
Mhm.
We all want
Right.
to bring home the crown for our countries,
Mhm.
but being there and meeting them, you know that they have good intentions, that what they're bringing to the table is true and authentic and it's themselves, and they're just really good energy, and you can feel that when you meet them.
And you're with them for almost a month, if I'm correct. 'Cause
Actually,
you were there in Japan for nearly 30 days.
yeah, I flew in on October 7th,
Mhm.
but the pageant itself actually started on the 11th.
Mhm.
So 11 to 26, that's about 2 weeks with the girls.
Okay, with the girl.
But I decided to extend
Mhm.
because when you make it to top 5, you stay until the 31st. But I stayed all the way to November 5 because I just fell in love with the
With
country.
That
and I
was
fell
your
in love
first
with
time
people
in
there.
Japan?
My second time.
Oh, your second
My first time was actually to watch our former Binibining Pilipinas-International 2021, Hannah Arnold. Yeah, so I got to see her performance live in the Tokyo Dome. It was different. It was a different venue this year. We went to the Yoyogi Gymnasium, which is a lot bigger. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there were some Olympics being done in that.
Okay.
Not too sure.
All right. So I also
Please correct
heard
me.
that your family were also with you during
Yeah,
the coronation
yeah.
night. So how their reaction after you won the third runner-up?
You know, I remember being asked, was it nerve-wracking to have your family there
watching
watching?
you,
'Cause
yeah.
I remember even one of the candidates, they were telling me, I'm so glad my family's not here. It's going to take off the pressure on me to have them watching. But for me, it was the opposite. I gained a lot of strength knowing that they were in the audience. Before the pageant even started, you could already hear them like shouting, Philippines, Philippines. And one of the chaperones goes up to me and says, like, your mom's outside. I got to meet her. And I saw some videos because people were filming the Philippines because they were so loud, so supportive. And it made me feel so proud just seeing their faces, not just before the show, but even on the stage. So usually when you're on the stage, you don't really see much because the lights are so bright.
Right.
But when the adrenaline starts to cool down, you can see the faces of the audience if you really checked. And I was so glad I got to see my mom, my cousins, my sister. They're waving at me in the audience. And I was like, they're here. And I remember telling Andrea when we were standing for top 7, right before the Q&A, I was saying, they're here, my family's here. They're watching over there. I found them because, you know, your eyes are like darting all over the place. It's a huge crowd. You're like, you're not even sure if it's them. And I don't have the best eyesight. But I saw them. And I remember it was one of the, like, the quiet times in the pageant. And I can hear my cousin go, let's go, Nick.
Wow.
My cousin Amber, yeah.
You can hear
Let's go, Nick. Yeah. How crazy.
They're so loud,
Yeah,
huh?
and then the moment I finally saw them, because I couldn't get to see them on the night itself because we were whisked away for the interviews, and then days after that we had to transfer hotel. When I finally visited them, my cousin goes, I can't talk properly. I'm bago. Like, I can't hear. I can't speak from all this screaming of the night. And they really enjoyed the production, so I'm glad that they had a good time.
We also watched your
Yeah.
performance, yes. But let's take back on that moment when they called your name, your country, Philippines, as a third runner-up. What was going through your mind that time?
Oh, well, you know, to know that there were 70 countries, 70 beautiful women, and a lot of them were very promising, are very promising. And the idea that there would only be one crown, it was something that we all, I think, had to accept. So to even make it a top 5 felt like such a big achievement for the country. It's been, I think, 4 years since we last placed into top 5, and it feels so good to bring it back. People were even saying like, oh, you know, you're the only Asian as well. And I thought, wow.
Yeah, that's right.
I began to feel that the day after, actually, because they all spoke Spanish to each other. Which I was like, me, teach me. And they go like, we'll adopt you.
But is there any areas of the competition that you felt like you could have done more, or are you okay with with your performance? Because for us, you did very great,
Oh,
especially
thank
with the
you.
Q&A. You have the hardest question about the sustainable
Development
development goals.
goals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
hardest, I think, among all the questions. So, you think you could have done more, or are you okay with your performance?
Well, in terms of the Q&A with the SDG, Stefan, our chairperson for Miss International, he'd always share that when you're in Miss International and you get a question like that, I think that you'd be so blessed because it gives girls the opportunity to talk about what they stand for. And what's beautiful with Miss International is they allow the girls to create videos to highlight what they do. So if you go on the YouTube channel of Miss International, you can see
Okay.
my SDG video and all the other girls' SDG videos. And with that Q&A, I got to talk about Habitat for Humanity. I believe in the power of people coming together and the collective efforts to help people have better lives.
Yeah.
And I said in my answer that I've faced natural disasters, and one in particular is Typhoon Odette.
Yeah.
Back in 2021.
Yeah.
It was a very hard time because we were also still recovering from the pandemic, and to be hit so badly
With the typhoon.
it's like one after the other, and it left a mark on me. I thought, given that the Philippines is the way it is, so close to, so prone to disasters, we should be better prepared the way that Japan is. And so that's what it's centered on. Because if you were to do things on your own, if you were to build your own house, it costs way too much money. That's why I wanted to highlight Habitat for Humanity and their work, because they've been doing it for decades. Yeah, like recently, I think it's their 35th anniversary. Right before I left, I got to go to their dinner. So happy anniversary!
Okay, happy anniversary, Habitat.
Other parts that I wish I could have improved on, there's so many. You're always going to look back on your performances and think, I could have done this, I could have done that. I'm pretty satisfied.
In what areas was that?
I am satisfied with the performance, but when you're a runner-up, you always wish for more. Same way as if you were a candidate, you'd wish you made it higher and higher. Maybe in my walk, maybe I wish I had taken a little more time. Maybe in my Q&A, I could have said a little bit more. Maybe included the Miss International organization in our future plans. Yes, maybe have taken more time on the stage, really soak it in. I would say that I was in the moment, but I think there's always room. Here we go. Here we go with the Binibining answer. There's always room for improvement.
Right, and that's also correct, right? Are you planning to go to another competition after this, or are you okay with the place that you get from the Miss International?
Oh, I don't want to start closing doors anytime soon, but with an achievement like this, being a third runner-up for Miss International, and dedicating as much time as I did to it for over a year's worth of preparation, I think I'm going to spend the next few months at least focusing on myself and my own growth before I decide on doing any more pageantry.
But with all your experiences in Miss International, what was your takeaway, or what was the lesson that you got from competing there?
Oh, and with the Japanese culture, like with the people, you learn so many lessons when you're out there on your own. So many. I was actually telling the team like how pampered you are when you're in the Philippines, because you get your team, you get your mentors.
VIP treatment also.
I didn't realize how VIP it was until I got to Japan. I was like, wow, I took it for granted here. Because everything you do on your own. So that's one lesson, independence. You wake up, it's your call whether you're on time. It's your call whether you prepare properly. You do your own hair and makeup. The diet's all yours. The styling, the ironing, everything. Respect. You learn respect because you have to ensure that you're there on time for these people. you're respecting other cultures because you're immersed with, because something that you do might be seen as rude to them. So it's very important that you are empathetic towards them. Like, let's say in Japanese culture, an example would be before meals, we always say itadakimasu.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
itadakimasu.
Okay.
So it translates to I will enjoy this meal. Right? Like how
Okay, yeah.
thoughtful is that? Like that's something that we don't really think
Itadakimasu.
about.
Yeah.
And I think one more lesson would be appreciation. God, like the Japanese have this incredible appreciation for the natural world. I always talk about the tea ceremony because I think it's a beautiful, beautiful way to embody a culture. So the moment you're handed the tea, you have to take the time to appreciate the cup. And even when you take a sip, you don't just down it all. You're like,
Smell,
you
yeah.
smell it, you appreciate, you thank the person who gave it to you.
There's a routine you're following.
And the moment you step inside the tea room where it's going to be held, they have this scroll, and at the bottom there's an ikebana arrangement, and I think it's a pot. I'm not too sure. But the ikebana is a floral arrangement that we also got to experience, by the way. And it's the complete opposite of how you would regularly do a flower arrangement. Yeah, because it's more minimalist and it's more thoughtful. Usually you would think, oh, a vase, you just put the flowers and you're done. In ikebana, there's a message behind it. There's a story. If you arrange it this way, it could be about family. If you arrange it that way, like there's always something to it. And if you look back on my pictures, my ikebana story was a burst of energy when you walk into the room. And when you go, we would like go to the other girl and be like, "Hey, what's your story? What's your story? What's your story with your flower arrangement?" And it's so simple, but the appreciation is there, and that gratitude, that intention. I think that's what makes the whole experience better. So that's my third lesson. I don't know how many lessons that was. Like 1, 2, 3.
And with that journey, it's not easy, right? Because you were crowned last year.
Yeah.
Back in July, am I right?
July 31. So but I think the program lasted till like 2 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
So that's basically August 1.
Okay.
Yeah, those two.
So anyway, it was a long journey. So what are the challenges of waiting, of the practice, of the training, since you waited so long before this coronation night in Japan?
I completely understand. It was patience, lots of patience. And I think what really helped was talking to Hannah about it, since she competed before me. And I think her wait was much longer. It was more uncertain. When she competed, she had to wait, I think 2 years, was it? And it was during a time when there wasn't even a date. There was no date.
Because of the pandemic.
So you're there waiting and you're like, when's my time? Versus my case where I know when my time will come. And I know what I'm getting myself into by joining this pageant. And this was the crown that I wanted. And it was something I was willing to accept. And I looked at it as, hey, with all this time on my hands, I get to do things that no other queen can. I get to travel to more places. I get to meet more people. I get to ask for their help and bring them on the international stage with me. I'm actually not done with my thank you messages. It's a long, long list. I've already thanked my family, my team, there's so many people.
Yeah.
It's insane. And just feeling that Bayanihan spirit was, I don't think I would have gotten it had I competed the same year that I won, because it's a more intimate journey, knowing that I've had all this time, getting to know people, getting to them understanding what I'm going through. and it gives you more room to learn about the
Mhm.
Japanese culture. I don't really know how to speak Japanese, but thanks to the time that I've been given, I got to
You were
learn just
able to.
I got to learn a
The
little few
greetings,
phrases.
yeah.
I've got to learn a few phrases if you wanna hear some. Right?
Why not?
Hajimemashite. Watashi wa Nicole desu. Oh, also after meals, I remember you say "Gaoshi saosama deshita," so it means thank you for the meal.
Mhm.
I enjoyed it. Um, a downside, the challenge of waiting was I felt a little left out. Yeah,
With
like
how?
you're only human,
Mhm.
so when you compete in Binibining and you get, we had 4 titles at the time.
Mhm.
So I got my girls. I had Gabby, Roberta, Chelsea, and I remember watching their. I was there at their send off party,
Mhm.
and I remember feeling like so excited for them, but
Mhm.
also I wish I could share this year with them, right?
Yes.
Because they competed. They all competed in 2022,
Yeah.
and I didn't get that chance to
Mhm.
compete with them. And even Hannah, I got to be there
Mhm.
for her send off, and then I had the turnover as well. It was
Mhm.
like a longing, I think.
Mhm.
And just the other day, I saw a picture, and there was a collage of our evening gowns. It
Mhm.
was like me, it was Gabby, Roberta, and Chelsea, and it said Binibining Pilipinas 2022. The batch is finally complete.
Yeah.
And I felt like, wow,
Mhm.
that wait was worth it.
Yeah.
It was worth it. Like just seeing that, I was like, it's a chapter in my life I can finally close, and
Mhm.
I'm very grateful for it.
Mhm. So with all these lessons you're bringing also in the future, so what are your plans after this? What are your goals, your future
Mm-mm.
plans? Are you
Boy.
entering, showbiz?
People always ask me
Yeah,
that.
because you
People
have the
always ask me that,
face.
like,
You
what do you want to do
have
after that? Ooh.
yeah.
Well, I flew back just a few
Mm.
days ago, so
Mhm.
at first I want to relax. Yeah,
Okay.
and I want to go through these media rounds and
Mhm.
take it all in because it makes me feel very special to be here. You know, thank you
Right.
for your time.
Mhm.
I want to finish my studies.
What are you taking? Are you?
I'm taking up interior design. So
Mhm.
if I have the time to work on that, I would.
Mhm.
I want to develop more programs with
Mhm.
Habitat because right before we left, we were
Right.
actually talking about
Mhm.
youth engagement because these kids they don't see the value yet.
Mhm.
So we're gonna work
That's
on that.
also
Maybe
on
find
my
a way to put it in
right, right.
curriculums.
I was about to ask you that. How about your social causes? What are your plans? Are
Mm-mm.
you continuing it
Mm.
or what? Are
Of
you
course,
holding it? Yeah.
it would be a shame to have a platform when you
Mm.
can't, when you don't. You have a social cause, you have the
Mhm.
platform, and you're just
Mhm.
gonna let it sit there.
Yeah.
It'll be a shame if I don't do anything.
Mhm.
So yes,
You're continuing your
yeah,
partnership with
for sure,
them.
and
Mhm.
hopefully we're gonna be able to even gather more funds.
Mhm.
By the way, I'd like to take some time
Yeah,
to
sure.
invite everybody to please, if you can, if you feel like you can't help out as much,
Mhm.
Habitat for Humanity actually has this initiative
Mhm.
called Bahay ni Juan, and it's one that I've been a part of for I think a year now.
Mhm.
And what it does is it takes a little, like you basically you donate monthly or
Mhm.
annually. It's completely up to you. You decide the amount,
Mhm.
and that pooled money is going to be used to help build houses
Mhm.
because a house can cost half
A
a million,
lot,
a lot of
yes.
money.
Mm-hmm.
But you're helping people in your own little way.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to volunteer, you can as
Mm-hmm.
well. I I I really encourage everyone to volunteer in person
Mm-hmm.
because it's different when you're just handing money over
Yeah.
versus you're there on the spot
Mm-hmm.
and you see how tiring it is to build a house and how
Mm-hmm.
it's never built on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And that community involvement, I think, is what encourages people to work together.
Yeah.
And that's when change really happens, right? Like nothing is done by yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
people are stronger when we're together.
Mm-hmm. It takes a
So,
village. So
village,
yeah,
yeah.
right. It takes a village.
Uh-uh.
So um, what are your advice with those who are, since you were talking about earlier the youth and their, you know, participation with your causes as well. So what do you think you wanted to tell the youth to, follow your footsteps in helping the society, the Filipinos,
Oh,
um,
wow. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. For the next generation.
for the next generation?
I think it's very important to look at the world as a place that you could leave better, right? That's what a legacy is all about, right? In the end, you don't remember people for what they have. You remember them for the mark that they left on you and how they made you want to be a better person. And I feel like that could be a domino effect when the youth are involved in these kinds of causes
Right.
because they see that life is more than just material things. It's more than fame. It's purpose.
Yeah.
And you never regret something that you know is with good intentions. So to all the youth out there, this is your home. God, like we're Philippines. We're a beautiful country, and it's a place that we must carry with pride. You know, wherever we go, even outside the country, when I meet other Filipinos, they're like, "Hey, you're a Pinoy. I'm a Filipino. Like, let's
They're
meet."
really
Yeah, like there's
proud.
if we have that same warmth, that same connection with our own people, why don't we do that with our own environment, with the home that we live in, with the community that we're at? Like, and it would be a shame not to do anything. You know, you're capable. We can't just keep putting the blame on other people. So I'd say that, like, to the youth, take a stand. You're never too young, no matter the age. You don't have to be the smartest in the room. You don't have to be the most qualified. I was never summa cum laude, not once. Like, and yet here I am, having this interview with you, having this platform for people to watch me, to listen to me. It's gonna make a difference, I hope. So that's my advice. Like, just,
For the youth.
yeah, you don't have to be the best at it. The fact that you're trying is already a step in the right direction. So,
Correct.
you got this, guys. Let's go,
That's
team.
right. How about those aspiring beauty queens who just wanted to be like you, the young ones who wanted to, step on that stage also? What are your advice to them?
I never thought I'd be a beauty queen at the start at all. I was the shyest girl in the room. I could never be in front of a camera, especially. God, the nerves I would get. I remember I used to, just to avoid social interactions, I would like try my best to hide physically. Like, I would not want to enter the room. I remember the shame I'd feel. And yet here I am. So I believe in change. I believe in effort. I believe in growth. So to my advice for any girl out there who wants to step into my footsteps one day, understand that you are capable of change. All of the things that you're insecure about, who knows, it might be your asset. And everybody has beginnings that might not be so beautiful, right? Like, being all shy, being like away from the world, like that's not a lot of growth if I had just stayed there. But I made the conscious effort to look at myself and say, hey, I'm sick of this. I don't want to be this kind of person. The person I look up to wouldn't be doing this.
Right.
So I guess number one, I'm kind of going all over the place here, but I think imagine the best version of yourself and see, how do I become that version? Because it's inside of you. It's so cheesy. It's inside of you.
Yeah.
You're capable of it. It's there. But you have to be conscious about it. You have to be present. You have to know that, hey, this isn't going to bring me forward. I have to stop doing that. This, although it scares me, I feel like I'm going to be a better person out of it. Let's do it. That's what's so beautiful about pageantry. It scares you to the bone. But when you walk out of it, you're like, I can't believe I did that. And
Right.
I did something not everyone would have the courage to do.
Mm-hmm. And also, you're not bringing just your name out there also.
Yeah, yeah.
It's for the country.
It gives you a sense of purpose that
Right.
like you have people watching you, you have people supporting you. It would be a shame if you didn't bring the best version of yourself forward.
Okay, speaking of pageants, Miss Universe is just around the corner.
How many weeks left? Like two?
Almost a week.
Like a week.
Yeah,
It's just a
it
week.
will be on October. Next
no.
Sunday. Next Sunday.
It's November.
November. Sorry, November next week,
Yeah.
Sunday. So, yeah. What do you think are our chances?
So
with
we better have a
Miss
watch party.
Michelle? Yeah.
Gosh, I've always admired Michelle, to be honest. She always gave this energy, like that's very girl boss, empowered, strong. And I think she's got a really good chance this year. The competition is crazy, but I could see already in the posts how much of a standout she is. I'm a big fan of her styling, so shout out to her team there. Wow. Michelle, if you're watching, if she ever gets a time to see this, you're making the country proud.
Wow.
So just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll have the homecoming ready for her.
Wow.
I'm not the one preparing it. This time.
Yeah, good luck
I'll be on
to
the side,
Michelle.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
lots of
luck,
pride.
Michelle, and hopefully we'll bring home the crown again.
Also to Anna, my goodness. Also to
She's
Anna Valencia,
competing.
yeah. She's actually our Miss Globe. She'll be competing after a day before. Is it a day before? A day before Miss Universe.
Wow.
She'll
So
be
we
competing
have
for Miss Globe.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Wow. So we're hoping for back-to-back crowns. Yeah, right?
Go Anna, go Michelle.
Go Anna, go Michelle. Lastly, finally, is there any message you wanted to tell the fans and also our readers and audience from the Manila Times?
To everybody watching, to Manila Times, thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to have this interview with you. I feel very special to be here. I get welcomed by media as soon as I arrive. To all my fans, my supporters, my Nick Nuggets, my family and friends, my team, my Origin, Aces and Queens, I wouldn't be here without you. And it means a lot that you believe in me. Thank you for that. Thank you for the faith. Thank you for all the overwhelming support. I've read your messages, but I have no time to thank all of
to
you.
reply.
You know, I even got a message from my dad, and he's like, to this day, I'm still thanking people. So people are going to my parents, congratulating them on my win. And I want you all to know that this is a shared victory. And I hope I made you guys proud. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
again, Nicole, for gracing us with your presence here in the Manila Times.
CSI, Celebrity Style Inspiration.